We are live. This is the Reseller Wake Up, episode 88. Today we're gonna have Valentine Dub on, or Abu on from. Sorry, his name's Valentine Dub on Facebook. His actual name is Valentine Abu from Seller Engine. It's a company that makes Profit Bandit, Seller Engine Plus, Celery. They also provide some other uh, really cool features, mostly revolving around Amazon sellers. But you know, if you're listening to the show, then you're probably you're probably an Amazon seller. But anyway, before we get started, what's going on, everybody? How has the week been so far? How you doing, Mike?
What's that?
How you been, man? How's the week?
Pretty good. Just trying to list all that stuff that I purchased over the weekend. I bought a ton. So
Going out and buying thrift stores out again, or Dollar
no,
Tree?
not thrift stores. I bought out a bunch of discount stores and
That's right, discount stores.
big box stores, and yeah, I was clearing shelves over the weekend, man.
Yeah, just got a box truck yet? Just getting one of
Uh,
those full-size U-Hauls to pull up to Walmart and be like, hey guys, you don't even have to put it on the shelf, just load it up here.
a couple of the people wanted to hire me. They're like, "Yeah, we're hiring you to start removing things from the shelves so that we don't have to do it."
What's up, Adam? How's it going, man?
Not too much, just always working.
Yeah.
Really getting sleep.
Getting that website up. How's the sourcing going, or have you just been focused on getting your,
Oh, that reminds me. Thank you. Almost forgot to do that sourcing today.
Nice. Hi, Danica.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Just trying to get woken up. I've been up for like an hour, but I don't know. I just can't kick it into gear today.
And I can't get going. I'm like,
Danica sounds like she just ran like 5 miles and she's energized and pumped.
I know. I'm trying so hard to wake up. It's like, my eyes just won't work.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it, come on.
I know. I was. That's what I was doing. I was in there and I was like, if I pull them, they will open more.
Right.
Here, I got some of the stuff you could put, just up here and up
there we
here. Yeah. Pull it back.
All that Criminal Minds episode. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. Hi, Deb. What's happening with you?
Not a lot of nothing. Gonna do some listing today. I spent too much time yesterday doing videos.
Oh, yeah. That's how the
Every
videos
time.
get in the way. So.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this for like 10 minutes. Just
And then 3 hours later, you're like, I
you know.
really got to find a good intro for this, or, should I cut it here or cut it here?
Yeah, I don't even bother. I don't cut anything anymore. I'm just like, I'll just take it as it is. I don't have time.
Yeah, I'm way too picky. Actually, if I don't cut it, then I have to do like 30 takes. That's why I stopped doing videos, ladies and gentlemen, because I literally will sit there and spend an entire day or two just working on the video,
you can
trying to get
watch
it
his
perfect.
takes as the sun rises and then the sun sets. And
Yeah,
then the sun rises
exactly.
again.
But we liked the 16-part videos that you were making.
I only made one of those, and it was a 2-part video, and it was actually shorter than a lot of videos that people make. I mean, 20 minutes isn't that bad.
Compared to
The 2-hour show that I do every day.
Paul's like, God, this video is awfully short. I should add something else to it.
No, it's more like, holy crap, I bought a lot of stuff. Yeah, I gotta get better at just doing the highlights. I don't think everybody wants to see the 5 each individual Ralph Lauren shirt that I bought. Yes,
You know what,
this
that's
one
a
has
good
blue
point, though.
stripes, and this one has white stripes, and this one has pink stripes.
I've seen those videos, and it's 25 minutes of that. And
Yeah.
it's like, and then moving on to the Brooks Brothers shirts. Here's a blue one, and here's a white one,
Yeah,
gray one.
exactly.
Just pile all your clothes up and say, look, I got some clothes, there's some Lauren in there, Art Schaffner Marks in there.
Yeah, I bought all this stuff today. I spent like $50. I'm gonna sell it for 500. That's all you need to know.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I'm
Like,
like
I
that.
started annoying myself. My videos started annoying me. That's why I don't make them. You know, because it's like, sweet Jesus, if I can't even look at this, when the world's going to watch
Yeah,
this.
I have one video. I don't remember what it was. It was a haul video. It was really long. I had bought all of this stuff, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is getting boring, guys. I'm so sorry." Like that was like in the video.
Yeah, Deb's got this one video she markets as, so here it is. It's really boring. I don't know if you want to watch it or not, but that's how she marketed the video.
That video has the most views of any video I have.
Well, because people thought you had to be lying. Like, okay, she's done something really silly or something in here. She's not going to tell people, hey guys, this sucks.
No, just flat out. This is really boring and long.
No.
The way we should start all of our shows, Danica.
What?
It's gonna be an hour.
Oh,
It's
this-
boring
yeah.
and long.
This is going to really suck, guys. You know, if you want to turn it off now, go ahead.
What's up, Dusty? How's it going, man?
Wake up.
Oh, thank you. That
I
I'm
gave this to Danica. You can try some of this too. This
Man,
is-
everybody looks awful in here today. I don't feel quite as bad.
No, we're getting good now. We're starting to all kick it into gear. We're gonna be.
We've started picking on each other now, so we're all kind of perking up a little bit now.
I rolled out of bed and I was like, what time is it? 8 o'clock. Crutches.
See, that would be the dude. You gotta have your wife one of these days videotape that so that when I actually make an intro for that show, that can be part of it. It's like Dusty wakes up, gets on his crutches.
It'd be awesome.
That's what I was sitting here. Then I was like, "That's the video I want to see." Like Dusty's like, "Oh my god!"
He's like, I'm
hobbling.
sorry, I thought it started at 8 or at 9. And I was like, I don't know what time it starts. Paul can't make up his mind.
I don't know. Somebody said that in the chat. They're like, "Does anybody know what time today's show starts?" I think they've been here since yesterday. Like, we don't know what time it starts, so.
Hey, at least I stay within like an hour or so, typically.
Not relative.
Typically, yeah,
It's
typically.
either 7 or 8 guys, but to be fair, I did make a post yesterday and I did say that it was gonna be a full 2 hours, and I gave everybody a heads up. You just have to pay attention to the Facebook group.
You lost them now.
What?
You gotta pay
Yeah,
attention.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
They have to do all
Everybody's like, but I just want to turn on the show.
I just want a clicky
Yeah,
work.
I don't know. Maybe when I get what do you call it?
YouTube famous?
No, when they start paying me to actually do the show.
Grown up?
Oh.
Syndicated? Yeah, there you go. Once I get syndicated,
Syndicated.
then
How do
yeah.
you syndicate a YouTube?
I have no idea.
Isn't it worldwide already?
I don't know.
Well,
There's
Good
some-
Morning America. Okay, we're gonna flash over to Paul in the Reseller Wakeup show.
That would be awesome.
That would be
No.
fun.
And we
the
could all hold
owl
up
with
our
the
signs. I had one of those media groups that was like, we would love to have your content as a part of our whatever. You know how those things work, the YouTube media groups.
hmm
And I was like, what?
Yeah, I've had that too. They like the studios or whatever. These guys that have
Yeah.
their channels. Yeah, I've had somebody.
It's like, no.
I've been contacted, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But
Yeah.
then I thought about making one. It's like, we could all put a community channel together someday, but I don't know.
Yeah, we could have a collaboration. I'm not going to collaborate with people I have no clue who they are and, what kind of editing they're going to do to my videos and,
Right.
what they're going to say. And, no, thank you.
Right.
I got an email yesterday. I think I was asking you about it, Danica. But they said that I was nominated as a subject matter expert to go on this website and sell my expertise, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
who is this loser that thinks I'm an expert at
They're sitting there going, man, that guy's so smart.
Right?
We need to learn from him.
I know. I really question people with stuff like that sometimes because it's like, I've got like 8 videos that I have published, and are they that awesome?
Yeah.
But I think it was sent to the show, the I think it was on the.
They're just watching the show and they're like, I don't know who that goofball that's running it is, but some of these guys on the panel are pretty smart. Maybe we should contact.
No, I mean like my show. I think it was sent to
Oh,
the. I think it was under the heading of mine. And it was we were on like episode 4 or 5. Episode 5. We had just done episode 5, and I was like, yeah. You really vet your people, don't you?
Well,
5 great videos.
No, you actually made it. Your show's a lot better at this point than this was at episode 5. We were still in the, okay, so, hi guys, I guess we're gonna talk today, and all of a sudden,
Jeff's tape goes off.
Yep. Every 5 minutes, you know?
Good times, good times.
Right. So, Valentine, how are you, man?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be on the show with all you lovely people. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, for real. I'm glad you guys have been so open and like interested in coming on in the first place. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I haven't really reached out to anybody, so I don't know how most of these companies work. But I mean, I know like the level of customer service that we've gotten just from that I've heard about from you guys. Like I've gotten a lot of feedback from other people that have dealt with you too, not just people that are on the show, but people who have like had issues or whatever, and they've. It's been phenomenal. I've never heard of anybody that were like, screw those guys, unless they were like the guy that bought Profit Bandit the week before you switched it over to monthly, and then it's like, oh, we don't like them because of that. But you know,
those guys tried to screw me.
I know.
Y'all handled that transition. Not to bring that up much, but y'all handled that transition amazingly well, considering that was probably a tough decision. I mean, y'all plastered that out everywhere, and were very communicative about it. So,
thank you. Yes,
exactly.
We did have to go to the subscription model with Profit Bandit. We had to be able to continue supporting the app and to make it better for the already existing users and for new users alike. So, but it was a very hard transition. It was indeed, yes, a tough decision to take, but it was also necessary. So I'm very happy. We're very happy with the results right now, and we really strive to be there for our customers pretty much around the clock. Like Paul said in the other show, we have 2 support offices, so we're pretty much available for email and voice support around the clock, except for 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific time.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane that you guys are available, except when people are like having supper and not doing anything. You know, when nobody's going to call anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's...
Nobody, yeah, 5 or 6 o'clock, you don't have to worry about getting your Amazon shipment out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a... Yeah,
we also offer email support on weekends. So
yeah, nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but last week we went into a lot of detail on Profit Bandit. I think we touched on pretty much all the questions that people had. There might still be some in the chat that we'll get to later, but for now I kind of want to focus on the Seller Engine Plus. We touched on it a little bit last week, and I mean, it's a really cool piece of software. I went ahead and downloaded it last night just to kind of get a feel for it, and the first thing that I noticed about it is that it looks extremely complicated and very daunting to learn, but that's why you're here. That's why we brought you on for 2 hours today. We want to really make sure that we touch on as much as we can, get a good demo of the software so that we really know what we're doing when we decide to try it out. And the nice thing about the software, first of all, you guys offer like tutorial or like a one-on-one coaching with the software. Like you'll teach people how to do it, right? Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So every new subscriber gets an email letting him know that they're more than welcome to request a training session or a demo, or however you want to call it. So this is basically a one-on-one during which we talk on the phone, After getting an idea of what the user needs the software for, I either myself or one of my colleagues shows them how everything is done. Our aim is for every new user that we get is to make sure that we train him on how to use Seller Engine Plus. Because we understand it comes with a very steep learning curve, and that's also because, well, it's a very powerful tool, and it can help you automate a lot of things when it comes to working with Amazon.
Yeah, the thing about tools like this. Where's that echo coming from?
I don't know.
That's okay. I think it's back. Okay, we're good. The thing about tools like this, the more complicated they tend to be, the more powerful they tend to be, and the more that you can tend to do with them and personalize it for yourself. So, I think it's great to have, like, if you have a piece of software where you just plug it in and you hit a button and boom, everything goes running. But if you have no idea what it's doing, or if all you're doing is taking somebody's word for it, then you're kind of putting your business in somebody else's hands. So having a piece of software where you can kind of tweak everything and you can do everything yourself and figure out everything yourself, and you've got the people basically on call that made the software to tell you what you need to do to make it do what you want it to do, is really, for me, I'm a micromanager. I like to do every little thing. I like to know everything that's going on myself. I like to know everything about my business and have my hands in everything. So this is the kind of thing that I would personally, I think that I'm most interested in. And it's the first tool like this that I've checked out, like actually used. I've seen videos on Scam Power, and I've looked into Inventory Labs a little bit, and I think those are the two main competitors. But this one looks really cool, and so go ahead and tell us first of all, like, what it can do in the first place. Saying that it's the seller tool, that's one thing, but there are a lot of features.
Right. Thank you. Well, Seller Engine Plus is ideal for for sellers that are just starting up, because it can help you keep track of your inventory from the start. It's a very powerful inventory management tool. You can create new listings in bulk or deactivate listings in bulk if for some reason you need to suspend some of your items at any given point. It helps you create and manage SKUs. Aside from inventory management features, you can also do basic repricing with the software, ensuring a minimum price is set for all the items, so you don't reprice. Never engage in a race to the bottom. There's also the FBA features, allowing you to create and manage your FBA shipments. You can add items to your working status FBA shipments in bulk. You can print FBA labels and everything. And the way that the software is set up, it also allows you to do product research to a certain extent. So if you have a list of UPC codes, that's really all you need to get the data from Amazon. That would help you decide which items are worth selling and which are not. So you can, in an instant, look at sales rank information, what the lowest prices are, how many other sellers are selling the same item, and so on. So as far as product research is concerned, it's very flexible, allowing you to import files and determine, like I said, which items are worth listing.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's one of the things that really... Oh, go ahead.
I forgot to mention that you can also do... you can also manage your merchant fulfilled offers.
Nice. So this isn't just for FBA. This software's been around for 10 years. You've been working on this software longer than FBA's even been around, correct?
That's right. At some point we had FBA features included just because FBA came around. So yeah.
Yeah. So
that might be one of the reasons. Well, that's certainly one of the reasons why the software might not be so intuitive at first glance. It's because it's been around for so long, and we've just been adding new features on top of the existing ones. So now, right now, the software can do quite a few things, like I said. But the drawback is that it's a bit hard to grasp. It's a bit hard to figure out how it works. But that's okay, because we're here to help you every step of the way, and we encourage every new trialer to go ahead and send us an email to support@sellerengine.com and request that free demo. We can also consult you on what best practices can be sometimes.
Okay. So now one of the things also, you were mentioning how it works with Profit Bandit. I mean, like if you're out there scanning your items and you pick up everything that you're gonna get, and all that stuff's saved on Profit Bandit, right? And then when you get it home, you can just upload those SKUs to Seller Engine Plus, and then go through and pick out all the things that you decided to make purchases on and add them to your inventory, correct?
That's right. And the way this works is, you know how in Profit Bandit you have that option to add the items to a buy list once they're scanned? Well, that buy list can be imported into Seller Engine Plus, and then you get the data from Amazon, decide on which items you list, how much you list them for, and that's it. A day's worth of scanning can be uploaded and listed on Amazon using Seller Engine Plus in a matter of minutes.
Okay. And so when you're actually doing the inventory management and you're like, one of the biggest frustrations I have with the Seller Central is just how bad their inventory management screens are, like how hard it is to find the items that you have in there in the first place, and how it doesn't give you the name of the item, it just gives you SKUs, and it's hard to separate what you have listed versus what you don't have listed, especially when you have a lot more items in your inventory. Seller Engine Plus, I mean, you've got all that information right there, and it's really easy to navigate through once you get the software figured out, right?
Exactly. You have search options to browse through your inventory, and
how many different search options do you have? Like, how you can set it up so that you can search by price, by how many you have in your inventory, by the item number, by the SKUs, you can do all that?
Yes, you can search basically by any field available in the inventory grid. And whenever you guys are ready, I can do a bit of screen sharing with you and show you exactly how the software looks like.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually just downloaded the software, so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this screen right now going, okay, where do I start? Because it does look pretty complicated at first glance. And I mean, that's why we want to do this screen share and this little walkthrough, because I mean, I think it'll help a lot of people who are trying to make a decision on whether it's for them.
Sure.
But yeah, if you want to kind of fire it up and show us where to get started, that would be awesome.
Fire it up. Probably not the first time that's ever been said in Colorado.
Wow.
Trust me, it's not.
I'm breaking the ice while he's firing up the software.
All right, so please bear with me for just a second. Let me.
No problem.
There we go. I'll just put it on.
Yeah, it's that green little arrow on the side there.
Yep, 1 second.
Paul, was that a monster?
Come on, I haven't had an energy drink in like 10 years.
That's why it threw me for a loop. Is it just a weird coffee cup? Because it looked like one of the big cans.
It's the same coffee mug I've been using.
Oh, but it looked bronze. Like when you took a drink, it looked bronze, and I was like, holy crap.
He's like, that's Coors Light. My dog would do it.
No, it's not. No, it's not a night show. That's another guy.
Okay, so I'm figured out the screen sharing, and I'm ready when you are.
Yep, we're on you. What do you got?
Okay, so this is what you're going to see at first. Okay. Actually, what you're going to see is a empty database.
Can I let me screen share mine real quick, just so that you
Okay.
guys can see what you'll see before you download anything. Like the very first thing. Let me bring it up here.
I can
He's
show you
got
guys.
it.
Oh, okay.
I can
Cool.
show you guys right now, though. No problem. All I need to do is open a separate database. The
So
way
you can have multiple databases?
That's right. Yes. The way the software works is you can create as many inventory databases as you need to. So for instance, you can have one database for your current inventory on Amazon and a separate database in which you do product research. So if you don't want to mix up the inventory that you're researching with what you already have on Amazon, you can definitely set up two separate database files.
Oh.
What you're going to see at the beginning is this screen right here, the one that gives you the option to choose the database that you will be working on. And you can also create a new database just by typing in the name of the file that you want to create, and then click the button to create the database, and then just choose a location where to save the file. So what you're going to see when you finally run the software is the screen much like this one. In the new database tab, aside from the new database tab, you also have your orders tab. Notice how the toolbars change as you jump from one tab to another. Let's talk a bit about these toolbars right here. The first one contains all the options referring to inventory management. So, for instance, you were talking about search. You can do a search here where you choose the field name and then specify what that field should contain, and then just click search, and it will bring up a list of all the matches. You can also import inventory. You can import from a file. And when you do this, you go through a wizard, which allows you to browse to the location of the file and then choose the format in which the file that you are importing is set. Or you can also do a custom import. And also export data from a file and also to a file, I'm sorry. And then when we're talking about uploading to Amazon, you have this upload button right here. Moving forward, we can also add new items in one by one. But why don't we try to import from a file today, just to show you how the inventory database would look like once it's populated. The same workflow that I'm going through right now would apply if you were doing product research and you were just importing a list of UPC codes. So click Import from File. And aside from the Import from File option, you also have the option to download your listings from Amazon. You can choose to only download your Amazon fulfilled inventory or all listings. So let's go ahead and import from File. I'll go ahead and do a custom import. And why don't I go ahead and import a buy list?
So this is how it would be if you were doing this from like your Profit Bandit buy list.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a buy list saved on my desktop. I'll go ahead and import that one, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So if I'm sorry.
The easiest way to download the Profit Bandit buy list, though, if you're not plugging your phone directly into your computer and uploading the file, you just use Dropbox or something like that, right? Or is there something? Is there another feature that you have where you can link them together?
No, the way to link them together would be you have an option to email the buy list to yourself. So just email that buy list and then download it from your email.
Okay,
make
cool.
it ready for import. Yeah. So I'm going to do a when I'm importing a buy list, you can choose the Profit Bandit file format. You just click next, and there you go. So now I have 15 items that are populating my database. The item type
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he froze.
That's what I was wondering, though. I was wondering if item type was going to be one of the categories, so.
Yeah,
I don't think
right.
it's
No.
true.
there we go. Okay.
Are you?
We thought you froze up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we thought you froze up.
Oh, okay. So you get the title information, quantity, the price that's imported is what you set for sale price when you scan the item in Profit Bandit. Right. So I was telling you that the item type is set by default to book, and that's because Seller Engine Plus hasn't had a chance to communicate with Amazon and bring up the additional information for each of these items in the software. If you look at the lower half of the screen, let's leave the inventory view for a bit, and let's focus a bit on the lower half of the screen. You can make this bigger or smaller, as you can see. You have the item info tab that shows you bibliodata, the price check tab, and then the FBA shipments manager we're going to discuss a bit later, and then the quick add tab. This tab allows you to add items quickly both to your inventory and to a working shipment. So right now, if you're looking at any of these items, the price check tab is empty. There's no competition information. If you look at the lowest price column, there's no competition information there as well. So the way to get this additional information is to simply run a price check on everything. The way to do this is select everything and then click Get New Price Data and Reprice. At this point, the software is warning you that you don't have a reprice schema assigned to any of these items. So that means that their prices will remain unchanged, which is a good thing if you're thinking that you're doing product research and you want to maintain the same prices as the ones that were generated in Profit Bandit, right? You don't want to override that price.
Right.
And you can always repeat the same steps if you want to calculate the new prices with Seller Engine Plus rather than leaving them set as they were in Profit Bandit. So, okay. By the time I was explaining things, the software finished getting the data from Amazon. So now you have lowest prices, except for this item right here, which you can tell by looking at the price check status that it cannot be found within the inventory, within the Amazon catalog. If you look at the price check tab, you actually have an error message saying that status was not found. And you get the lowest price competition and, well, all the competition data available from Amazon and everything else that there is to be retrieved from Amazon. So at this point, you can already start deciding on which items you can sell by comparing the price generated in Profit Bandit to the lowest price available, or by looking at the competition in the price check tab. And let's talk a bit about the competition. Take this item for example. At the bottom of the screen, it says that for number of listings, there are 32 listings retrieved out of a total of 420. So, as Paul must have explained in the episode he was on, Amazon only provides the 15 lowest price listings for each condition category. So, for instance, this item right here, Out of the total 100 new listings, only the first 15 were retrieved, and then for used, out of 318, only 15 were retrieved, and there were also 2 collectible listings. So you can only get a maximum of 45 listings based on which the buckets are compiled. And what a bucket is essentially a group of listings that all have the same criteria based on which the buckets are compiled. And these criteria are the condition of the item, the fulfillment channel, whether the seller is full or not, the lead time to ship, and the feedback rating interval. So whenever you're looking at one of these buckets, if you want to see whether it contains more than just one listing, you have to look at the number of listings column. For instance, this bucket right here contains 4 listings. The price showing for this bucket is $3.99, and well, I'm sorry, it's $14.11. That means that the other 3 buckets, even though they match the same criteria, they are their price might be higher than the $14.11 you're seeing for this item. Unfortunately, this is a limitation imposed by Amazon. While other higher prices are hidden behind the lowest price within a bucket, there is really nothing that we can do to get that data from Amazon. All that we can show you is whether there are multiple listings at the lowest price within a bucket. And this is being shown in the last column right here. Okay, well, having discussed the limitations of the competition data that you have to work with, and having already run a price check, let's go through this, quickly go through the steps of creating a new reprice schema, or a set of price rules, if you will. So in order to do that, you can go to inventory and then choose reprice rules wizard. You have to go through a wizard that allows you to set up and also modify existing reprice schemas. In the first step, you can choose to create a new schema or modify an existing one. Let's create a new one. In the second step, you can choose what competition you want to compete against. So, for instance, if you only want to compete against FBA sellers, choose this filter called Only Keep FBA Buckets. Or if you're a seller that only sells new items, obviously you only want to compete against other new listings. So then you can choose the filter, the first filter called Only Keep Buckets that are in a specified condition, and so on. Other filtering criteria that you have available aside from condition and fulfillment channel are price, feedback rating, feedback number, location, and lead time to ship. And you can also exclude the mega seller bucket. Now,
hey, Vali, can I interject? I hate to interrupt for a second, but there was a question in the chat because there was already somebody interested in the software.
Sure.
You do get the first month for free, correct?
That's exactly right, yes. So the first 30 days are free. It gives you a chance to schedule a training session with us and to get accustomed to the software before starting to use it. And
okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because I remember like with y'all called during, I mean, you set it up with me, and I want to say it was like 2 or 3 days after I had the software. It was my first available. It was fairly quick. And you walked me through a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it I figured out on my own, but you had really walked me through a lot of this as well, and you still do that, correct?
Exactly. So we try to reach out to our users and offer them a tutorial, basically, a live tutorial.
And y'all still do it where you do a live screen share where they can share their screen if they're comfortable with that, like you did with me, which was amazing. Yes. And I sat and watched your cursor move, and you had let me try it on my own, correct?
Exactly.
I apologize for interrupting. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't answering anything wrong in the chat.
No problem, Dusty, and please, anyone, feel free to stop me. There's a lot of ground to cover with Seller Engine Plus, and if I get boring, please stop me.
Absolutely not. I'm like so geeked out right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely paying attention. The only question I would have, like, I mean, you said that the buckets, you only get 15 price listings from each category. Now, you can always just go to Amazon and check and see what the other 200 listings are going for, right? If you need to double check something.
Absolutely. And there's a button in the software. If I quit the Reprice Rules Wizard for a bit, if you go to the price check tab, you have a browse on Amazon button right here to the right.
So you can always double check all the information. They're only giving you so much, but that doesn't mean that you don't have instant access to everything else.
Exactly.
Good.
And there's one other thing that I wanted to mention. In the price check tab, you can also the software also identifies the buy box price, which is shown with the small shopping cart icon, and then the Amazon logo icon refers to the mega seller bucket. Essentially, the mega seller bucket is some sellers try to compete with Amazon directly or try to not compete with Amazon, and we try to identify Amazon within the competition data by looking at all the buckets, and if we find a bucket that has a feedback rating above 98%, the fulfillment channel set to FBA, and a feedback count well over several 100,000, if the item is sold by a local seller and the lead time to ship is 0 to 2 days and the item is new, we assume that that is Amazon's offer. And if it's not Amazon, it's one of those rare mega sellers that manages to maintain a very good feedback rating despite the very large feedback count. And the feedback count that you see here is.
So it's essentially like competing. It's essentially like you're competing against Amazon, whether it's Amazon or one of the mega sellers that has their.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so either way, it's somebody that you're going to be competing with. And just to give everybody a heads up, Vali is in Romania, so if there's a little bit of lag here and there, then, I mean, he's across the world, so it's amazing enough that he's able to just hop in this chat and talk with us. But, yeah, you might get a little bit of that here and there.
Well, Romania ranks number 5, I think, in internet availability and speed. So
Shut up!
Wow, really? Are you serious? I never would have guessed.
The United States is like really low on the internet scale. We don't do a very good job with our internet infrastructure like most other countries.
That's amazing, though. 5th?
Yeah, we love our internet. So
holy cow!
I'm not sure where the lag is from, but.
It's like it's not me because I'm on Google Fiber.
Well, but look at what all's going on here. I mean, he's got Seller Engine Plus running while he's in a Google Hangout that he's screen sharing. You know what I mean? There's an awful lot going on right now.
Screen share can get pretty laggy anyway, but go ahead.
Right. So I'm just gonna jump back to taking you guys to the Reprice Rules Wizard real quick. Steps. So this is where you choose your filters. Let's just only compete against new condition items just to show you how it works. And then the next step, this is a very important step because here you can define lower and upper limits for repricing. Oh. This is where this is where you ensure that you don't price items at a loss. So the way to add a lower limit is just by clicking the add button. You can choose what type of limit to create. It can be a lower limit or an upper limit, sorry. And the most popular and the most reliable options for setting up lower limits, even though you have quite a host of options here, including a flat amount. So you can, for instance, for a group of items, you can set up a reprice schema for which you know you never want to sell those items for any less than, let's say, $4, right? And then voila, by adding this lower limit, which is equal to the flat amount of $4 with shipping not included here, but you can specify whether or not that includes shipping. Repricing will never go below $4. So if the lowest price is $1, your new price will be calculated at $4. You can add multiple lower limits. So aside from lower limit based on flat amounts, you can also set one up that's equal to the minimum item price. Now, this minimum item price is a field specific to Seller Engine Plus, which you can, which you need to fill in for the items where you want this lower limit to apply. Otherwise, the lower limit will not be calculated because if you don't have a minimum price specified, there's nothing to base the lower limit on, right? So a lot of people get confused and figure if they specify the minimum price when they add their new items, then that will suffice in safeguarding their prices when they reprice. But that's not entirely so. They also have to take the step of setting up a lower limit that's based on the minimum price.
Is there a max amount of filters that you can put in the reprice, or like is there, can you only have like 5?
That's a very good question, and the answer is no. You can add as many filtering criteria as you want to. You can add as many lower limits and upper limits as you want to. Whenever you have multiple lower limits in place, what will happen is the software will take into account the highest of the lower limits. So if you have a lower limit calculated on $3 and another one at $5, your final lower limit will be $5.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a completely newbie question here because I know almost nothing about Seller Engine.
Go ahead.
The parameters, or a lot of us do FBA. Does it take into account the people that do merchant fulfilled as well, or can you set it to where it only reprices based on the FBA price? Or FBA sellers?
You can do both. You can choose to include merchant fulfilled sellers in the competition you're competing against, or you can choose to only compete against FBA sellers. One of the drawbacks in choosing to compete only against FBA sellers will be and this will happen in any third-party software, including our Celery repricing tool and including other competitors out there, other software developers. The issue is that if you get only the first 15 lowest price listings for each condition category, if the lowest FBA price is not among those lowest price 15 listings, the software will show you that there are no FBA sellers and there will be no one to compete against, basically.
Oh.
Yes. So you might think that, yeah, you might be repricing items in the absence of FBA listings when in fact they are. They're just not being returned by Amazon.
Wow.
Oh.
But this is something that everybody has to deal with, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So how do you have to go back and manually do anything to account for that stuff every now and then, just to keep tabs on like what your inventory is doing? Can you go in and sort by like the inventory that's been there the longest to see why something specifically hasn't been selling?
Yes. So there's a column that will show you the date when you initially listed each item, or each SKU to be more precise. Yeah, so you can sort your inventory by how old it is, or how long you've been listing it, and figure out if you need to do something, and just look at those items and maybe reprice them more aggressively,
Now, is there an FBA inventory price manager in this too, like the storage cost, like for oversized items, to show you how much everything individually is going to cost you per month based on like Amazon's information on the item, and also the long-term storage? Does it take that into account? Like, does it give you any alerts on any of your items? Can you set it up to do that stuff?
Unfortunately, no. It will show you how much an item weighs and its dimensions. So, but it's not going to give you any alerts whether for oversized items. No.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. So,
Sorry we asked so many questions.
That's my ADD brain just jumping into stuff because questions started getting thrown around.
I'm sure that a lot of people who watch the show must have thought of exactly the same questions as you guys. So I'm very happy that you are interrupting me. Please don't even consider it a problem. And it gives me a chance to better explain things. But moving forward through the Reprice Rules wizard. So far we have established the competition we want to compete with, and our lower limits for repricing. And so if we move on to the next step of the wizard, this is the most important step because you can choose, you define the actual repricing action that you want the software to take. And first, you need to choose a reference price, the options available being the average or weighted average price of the remaining buckets. And by remaining, the software refers to what remains after filtering. The lowest, second, or third lowest price. So not only can you compete against, or not only can you choose the lowest price as your reference, but you can also choose the second lowest price as a reference instead. Competing sometimes, and this is more of a personal observation, but sometimes it might be, especially for the very good sales rank items, it might be a better strategy for you to try to compete or to try to undercut the second lowest price rather than matching or undercutting the lowest price directly. Because if it's a good sales rank item, the first lowest price seller will sell out fast, and you automatically become the lowest priced seller. But you will do so having a price that's much higher than the price of that lowest price seller. So if the lowest price at some point is $5 and the second lowest price is 10, and you want to jump in the game, you can reprice your item to be, let's say, $9. The lowest price at 5 sells out, and then you become the lowest price at $9 rather than 5 or $4.99, and you sell your item immediately as well. So instead of leaving $4 on the table, you just made a decent sale for the maximum you could have gotten out of that situation.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of you guys already do this for good sales rank items, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm never the lowest price on anything that I sell.
Never.
Ever. I am never, ever, ever the lowest price on anything.
That's very good, because repricing with Seller Engine Plus is not necessarily about having the lowest price or obtaining the lowest price. And as you can see, it gives you several options to obtain a good price without being the lowest price and without leaving money on the table.
A lot of the things that this can do are countering the reasons why I don't use a repricer. So it's like, the things that I thought I was losing control of,
mm-hmm.
You're actually giving me control of those things, and I didn't think that that was possible.
It's the stuff.
You know what I mean?
You're saying it's the stuff that you already did, the strategies you already used in your head, but now
mm-hmm.
you're realizing, oh my gosh, this can be done automated.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I didn't think there was a tool that could actually do the things that I manually do automatic. Like, I didn't think there was a tool that could do it automatically.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm completely digging. Okay, sorry, Vali, go.
No problem.
I didn't realize that it was that.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in trial and to.
Oh yeah.
one-to-one about this and help you get set up.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so what other options are there? So aside from the average or weighted average price, the lowest, second, or third lowest price, you can also choose to compete against the mega seller price. I was mentioning this before. And also the lowest price by fulfillment channel. You can compete against the lowest FBA price where available, or the lowest merchant fulfilled price. Last but not least, the final option is to try to compete against the buy box price. Of course, since the buy box, it won't, so if you try to compete against the buy box price, it won't necessarily warrant that you will get the buy box yourself, because as you know, the buy box is awarded based on several variables, not just your current price, but also if you're an FBA seller, what's your performance or feedback rating, and so on. But you still have this option to just go ahead and compete against the buy box price. Okay, so after you choose a reference price, you just set how your new price will be calculated. You can set it to be equal to the price above, or lower or higher than that price. A lot of people like to just undercut by 1 penny, so let's go ahead and do that ourselves today. And you can choose whether to compete against the total price plus shipping. So if you're a merchant fulfilled seller competing against other merchant fulfilled sellers, you will most definitely want to leave this option enabled. Last but not least, choose a name for the schema. And if no competition is available, so if, let's say you chose the mega seller price, if that price is not available, you can enable this other option, choosing the lowest price, the buy box price, or one of the average prices.
So do you do that for each thing, each filter that you put in? Would you do that? Like the reference price, or is this just each individual
item?
Okay.
Is it so? You're doing this for the entire schematic, like every item in this?
He's creating one huge rule right now that's going to be applied to whatever items in his inventory he tells it to, which could be all of your inventory. It could be, hey, I only want to do this repricing schema for just my DVDs. I mean, it's really flexible. You can have multiple schemas for different types of inventory.
Oh, that's the reason for naming the schema, so you can
That's
choose
what schema means. It's basically a repricing rule, so to speak, or repricing.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, Vali.
No problem. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you for taking that question.
No
You were
problem.
spot on.
Well, that's how my brain kind of operates, because I've used the software, and so I'm like, was trying to figure out how best to explain it. Sorry.
It was a very good explanation. Exactly. So what we're doing right now, we're just setting up a repricing schema. And you can set up as many as you need to and assign those schemas, once they're ready, to whatever groups of items or individual items that you want to reprice according to those schemas. So in the final step of the wizard, you have 3 exception rules, which you can enable. You can enable an exception rule for items where you have the buy box. So let's say this repricing schema, once it's ready, it will be assigned to my entire inventory, right? But if you have items where you already have the buy box, for instance, you can set the software to take a different pricing action or repricing action. You can set, for instance, the software to leave your price unchanged, because if you already have the buy box, you might want to keep it for as long as possible. So leaving your price unchanged will definitely prolong your time, your buy box ownership. The second exception rule applies to situations where you are the only seller for an item. This is a very good situation, and I'm sure all of you would love to be in that situation with every item that you have. In such a case, what you can do is, and one of the most popular setups I've seen is to simply reference the minimum item price. So if you reference the minimum item price, or if you have the pay price, and make your new price calculation be higher than that pay price by a big percentage or a big amount. So like go with something like 100%, right? So you can set up the software to ensure that you double your money on items where you are the only seller, or triple it, or go with whatever figure makes most sense. And the final exception rule, this one doesn't necessarily apply all the time, but it basically it can be used for situations where you have a seller in the same condition. So let's say you only sell new books, and the majority of your competitors are offer the same book but used. Then you want to enable this exception rule as well, since, well, there's clearly a big difference between you and the rest of the sellers. That is that your item is brand new. Okay. Finally, you can click Finish, and the software will ask you if you want to assign this reprice schema to all items that don't have a reprice schema assigned it. And you're done. At this point, after setting up the repricing schema, nothing will happen. You just created a new reprice schema file, but it will not take any effect until you take another 2 steps. First, you need to choose the items that you want to have repriced based on that schema, and then take the action of actually repricing the items. So let's say this repricing schema will work just fine on this sample of items. But after selecting all these items, click Edit, and by doing so, what you're essentially doing is editing the selection of items in bulk. And this will work just fine if you want to change your condition note, or if you want to change the condition for some listings. So this bulk editing of items can come in very handy when you want to update your listings here and there. But right now we're editing these items in bulk so that they have the reprice schema that we just created assigned, and click OK. That's it. Now these items have been have had the reprice schema assigned, and now we can click Get New Price Data and Reprice again, so that we can have these items repriced according to the reprice schema that we just assigned. Bear in mind that by doing so, there's these prices. If we were repricing items that are currently listed, the price changes that have just happened would not be uploaded to Amazon. So you'd still see these prices only in your inventory database. Okay, so at this point, after having repriced this selection of items, there's a last price column that shows you what your price was before the last reprice action that you took. And then there's also this column right here which shows you by how much the price was changed. So before actually uploading these prices to Amazon, you can evaluate how the reprice schema, how efficient the reprice schema was. In this case, you can see that the price was dropped by $9.99, so that's a pretty big price drop. And then a price drop of $6.98 here, then $10.76 price increase over here. Whenever, bless you.
Thank you.
All right. So whenever you want to look more in depth at how the new price was calculated, simply select an item, and then in the price check tab, click the View Reprice Log button. When you do this, a new browser tab or window appears, breaking down the reprice schema for you for that particular item as it was applied for that item. Okay, so this is how the reprice log looks like. Everything that you see in red is competition that got filtered out. And then you have your lower limit calculations. The first one was set to $7.99. The second one was never calculated because you don't have a minimum price specified for that item, exactly what I was talking about before.
Mhm.
So your final limit is $7.99, and you wanted to reprice your item to be well, it should have been 1 penny here, but I typed in 0.14%. Well, anyway, you wanted to undercut the mega seller price, but since the mega seller price is not available, your new price was chosen to be the lowest price after filter. Or no, it was actually the average price. I forgot what I set up in the repricing schema. Sorry. Sorry, guys. So yeah,
Okay.
this must be the average price that we chose. So in the absence of the mega seller price, the repricing fell back on the average price. So your final price was set to $23.75, and that's of course before subtracting the shipping credit that you get from Amazon, the $3.99 shipping credit, because this is a book. So that's how repricing works.
Now, celery is even more in-depth repricing than what we just did, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna be.
No, somebody was asking the difference, and that's why since we just did the repricing, I just wanted to say that if that was as much as you can handle repricing,
Yeah.
celery's a
Celery's-
lot more in-depth.
We're gonna
And
talk about
only
celery.
repricing.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about celery before we go off, but for now, I want to stick to getting through the.
Oh, yeah, no, I just wanted to know if...
yes, well, the celery can cover everything that you've seen so far in Seller Engine Plus and more. The possibilities are really limitless with celery, and it's a very flexible, very fast repricing. Right. Well, I've shown you guys how to manage inventory, how to set up repricing. Let's imagine that at this point you were happy with the price changes for these items. All that you would need to do is click upload and then select update prices for existing listings. If these items were items that you imported from a file list in Profit Bandit or from a spreadsheet that one of your distributors or wholesalers have provided previously, after setting up all the details, all you would need to do is right-click and select reassign SKU values, because you know you need SKUs before uploading new items. You can configure your SKU setup and then click regenerate. And now you also have SKUs for all these items. So these items would be ready for upload. Choose the first option, add new items, and you would instantly create new listings for all these items that we've just imported from the buy list. So Seller Engine Plus can also help you generate SKUs for the items after they've been imported from a file. Right.
I have a question for you, Vali.
Please.
If you have an item already in your inventory, like one of those that you have selected there, if it's already in your inventory, it creates a brand new item?
That's a bit more tricky. If an item is already in your inventory and you've already scanned it in with Profit Bandit, right now it would be, the software would have a hard time identifying the duplicates, the items that already exist. So you would have to have your SKUs set up so that they match the product ID, basically.
Okay.
If the SKU is the same as the product ID, be it a UPC or ASIN number, then you can, when you import, the software will identify the duplicates and it will tell you, hey, you already have this item listed and it's under the same condition as the one that you are importing. What would you want to do? Would you want to update the inventory quantity for that item, or would you want to create a separate listing? So it can prevent creating duplicate listings, but you have to make sure that the SKU, both in the inventory database into which you are importing and in the file that you are importing, is set up so that it's the same as the UPC code, for instance.
All right.
So as long as you haven't changed that, it would be the same, correct? Like as long as you haven't messed with the SKU, wouldn't it be the same?
Well, if you're importing a Profit Bandit buy list, it doesn't contain any SKUs. So if you were to import it and you already have the same item in stock in your inventory database, the software would not identify duplicates. No, you would have to. What you would have to do is go in the buy list before importing it and duplicating the product ID field and the product ID column and renaming it SKU, basically. Then the software, yeah. So then when you're importing and you have your SKUs set as UPCs, the software would identify the duplicate SKUs and tell you what to do.
Only based on SKU, though, not based on title and condition or anything like that.
Based on SKU and condition, yes. And so this combination has to be identical, but not based on title, no. We have a new feature in the works that will, what it will do is it will look up the product ID and then look up the ASIN and then run a quick search in your inventory and try to find any matches. Hopefully we'll have this feature included in the next build of the software. We will need to release that by the end of March. So hopefully we'll have that feature in there available in a month.
Awesome.
So when you hit reprice it, just to back up and answer a question that was in the chat, when you hit get new data and reprice, that was real time Amazon pulling the data from Amazon right then, correct?
Exactly. So we don't have this competition data stored somewhere on our servers, and then we provide it to you guys whenever you get new price data and reprice. The software goes directly to Amazon and gets that data as fresh as it is within the Amazon API.
And I think the second part of her question in the chat was, she said, for example, on her current repricer, she has to set up a time schedule. Does it reprice as soon as the price changes? I don't know what exactly she meant by that, unless she was referring to the automatic repricing feature of it.
Right. I think I know what she's referring to, and if she's asking if the software will react. So if you have the lowest price for an item and then someone undercuts you, if the question is, does the software react to when someone undercuts you, then the answer is no, not Seller Engine Plus, but Celery, yes. Celery can be enabled to react to price changes instantly, and as soon as they happen, yeah, rather than just going on a cycle. The way that, yes, please.
I'm sorry. When you accept the repricing here in Seller Engine Plus, when you do the upload it to Amazon, the price change, that's instant, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's as fast as Amazon will be in processing the upload that you just made from Seller Engine Plus.
Right. Okay.
So the price changes will not happen instantly. They will happen in a matter of minutes. The larger the file, the more time it will take Amazon to process the upload from Seller Engine Plus. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's as instant as possible. Otherwise, we would have to send an upload for each individual item, which Amazon wouldn't like. And
I bet not.
yeah.
Here's
But it would,
10,000 small uploads.
exactly. That would just drive them crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but it's as fast as it can go. And just to show you how automatic reprice works, here's where you enable it. And when you enable automatic reprice, you can choose the section of inventory you're enabling it from. It can everything in your inventory, current selection, or items which you specifically mark for automatic reprice. Then you can choose a time for the software to start repricing and a repeat interval. So if you wanted to reprice your items only twice a day, set the repeat interval to 12 hours and just click start now, and rest easy that the software would start repricing in 12 hours. And then after that, it would start again.
That's awesome.
Of course, for that, you need to have your computer turned on because this is a desktop application. It's not web-based like Celery. And yeah, and the connection to the internet would need to be reliable, stable enough. So yeah, so as far as automatic reprice is concerned, this is how it works. And click OK or start now. Right. So I was telling you that after you import the items and you reprice them, you can go ahead and list them as merchant fulfilled simply by clicking upload and select add new items. But if you wanted to list these items as Amazon fulfilled instead, you would have to first create a shipment using these items. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's choose the items for which we generated SKUs earlier. And the way to add them to a shipment is simply by right-clicking on the selection and then choosing Add to Shipment. And as soon as you do that, a shipment preview call gets sent for each of the items, and then new shipments are generated within the software. Okay. As soon as the shipment preview calls are delivered by Amazon, the software jumps from the inventory screen to the shipment screen, showing you the shipment and also appending the shipment preview toolbar. And it also, in the lower half of the screen, it jumps to the FBA Shipments Manager to the Shipping Session tab, showing you the shipment that was just created. It looks like I was lucky and all items got added to the same shipment, but as you know, the more items you have and want to send into Amazon, the more likely it is that those items and their quantities will get split between several shipments. So the same thing can happen in the software. Why don't I show you how this works? So for instance, let's take this item right here. We just added a copy of it to a shipment. Well, let's say that I actually have 100 copies, right? So all I need to do is, if this is an item I'm replenishing stock for instance, or an item where they simply have multiple quantity, first you need to edit the inventory quantity field, and then again right-click and select Add to Shipment. We will most likely see this quantity split between several shipments. Yep, there we go. So this quantity of 100 got split between 3 shipments. This is how Amazon wants you send the quantities in to different warehouse locations. If you don't, they have a redistribution service, which of course you have to pay for. Right. But the thing is, with Seller Engine Plus, you don't necessarily need to um, cancel the shipments that are too small for you to make sense to send in, you can just leave the shipments in the shipping session as working and continue to send in the shipments that grow faster than the others. And then by the time those older shipments reach a size where it makes sense for you to send them in, finally wrap it up and have those shipments sent in. It's just a matter of having enough floor space, if you will, with a lot of empty boxes. That's it.
And you said that the destinations will not change.
No, the destinations do not change, and as soon as the shipments are created within the software, they are also registered on Amazon as having the working status, which means that you can continue to add other items and other quantities to those shipments at any later time.
Like
But that's only with this software. I mean, if you try and do this on Amazon, where you do your shipments and then you decide, oh, there's only 3 things going to that warehouse using Seller Central, then next time when you start adding to your shipments again, it's going to screw up everything, and all the warehouses, the destination warehouses, might change over the next few days, right? I mean, that's one of the problems that I've heard a lot of people having issues with. I've had issues with it in the past where
my warehouses have never changed. I've heard people mention that, but mine have never once changed.
Not if I have it as work. If I've got it, as a shipment that I'm working on, I've not had it change.
Exactly. If the shipment is registered as working, the destination, what you've registered so far, what progress you've registered on that shipment so far, Amazon will never change because But on the other hand, you've also taken the commitment of eventually sending those items in. And if you cancel too many working status shipments, Amazon will contact you about it and cancel terms of service. What does expire is the shipment plans. So a lot of people confuse the shipment plans with the actual shipments. They make shipment plans, and those can expire because they're made based on shipment review calls. And if Amazon logistic requirements change, those shipment plans have to change with them.
Okay, that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're sitting there working on your shipments and then you print out your labels and you click on the prepare shipment and it tells you where everything's going, and then you go back and change a bunch of stuff, then that tab will can change. But then once you confirm the shipment, then it won't change past that point, right?
Exactly.
Okay. That's what happened then.
Right. So you actually have an option. If you go to File and then Preferences, in FBA settings, you have an option. Right now I'm set to local because I never want to actually send these shipments in, so I don't want to suspend our test account. Right, but by default, the software is set to working. So as soon as you create a shipment, it gets registered, and you never have to worry about Amazon changing their mind about those shipments and their locations and whatever. But right now, mine is set to local. So by setting them to local, that means you can look at the status of the shipment is local. That means that these shipments haven't yet been registered with the Amazon account, and they can always be deleted from the software. This can offer some sellers the opportunity to kind of evade Amazon. And so, for instance, right now what I've done is I've submitted I basically said that I have 100 copies of an item, and I added it to a shipment, and that quantity got it got split between 3 shipments. So if I only had a quantity of, let's say, 50 items, and I wanted to send some of those items in, I could inflate the quantity that I have, add it to a shipment, and then choose the shipment that makes the most sense for me, and then quickly register it with Amazon by clicking the register shipment button and then choosing the working option.
So you can do that by individual shipment. I like the individual shipment IDs. You can just choose. Okay, so that one has me sending them all here.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's sneaky.
Yeah, it is a little.
I like it.
I was having second thoughts about whether to mention this or not, but you can. Of course, you have to be quick, so that Amazon doesn't change their mind about these shipments, because they're local. Showing the local status means that they haven't yet been registered.
And those will change. Those can go to different warehouses after they're if you finalize like 2 days later if it's at this point.
Exactly.
Right on. So when you're printing out your labels, what printers does the software support?
So we've tested Seller Engine Plus with the Zebras, the Dymo printing labels, and the Brothers 7820N model. And we've had great success. Printed labels with no problems with all these models. But you can also use a standard type printer and just have your labels printed on a standard A4 sticker paper, and then cut those out later. All you need to do is go to preferences and choose the label printing option, and then choose the printer for the labels, and set the label type, and that's it. You'll be good to go.
Cool.
And that was the thing that I liked about Seller Engine was I have a Dymo Label Writer 450 Turbo, and it was so easy to set up. And literally, when I was going through the software, like when I first started using Seller Engine, I had about 2,500 sci-fi books that I was going to send into FBA, and I literally sat through, scanned them with a barcode. It popped up all my competition, would add it to the shipment, it would spit out the label, and it would automatically add it to the shipment, like on the page where he's at. Boom, go to the next item. And I think I knocked out, I could knock out several hundred books an hour, and I just don't know of any other way that you can do that through the back end of Seller Central with Amazon, because it's so many other steps doing it that way, and having to look over and see what your competition's doing on a tab. And with Seller Engine, it was all pretty much right there when I scanned the item.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Dusty. And the workflow to do that would be, just to show everyone else, is to go to the Quick Add tab, make sure the product ID field is enabled, grab your scanner, scan the barcode. You can have the software to automatically print the label as soon as the barcode has been scanned. It would print the label. You could just pick up the label, put the label on the item, and then drop it in the box where the item is supposed to go, and you're ready to scan in the next book. So that's how easy it can be for you to scan in new items and prepare your FBA shipments with new items.
So whenever you actually do that, it tells you which box it goes in. Like, is it on another tab, or where exactly would that? I mean, can you go through that like real quick on an item? Or
yes, I actually have a book with me. Ooh. I don't have a barcode scanner, but I'm going to type in the ISBN real quick, if you guys can bear with me. And it's a great book. I love this book.
It's 50 Shades of Grey, isn't it? Come on, Vali, admit it. If it pops up 50 Shades of Grey, you are so busted.
Touche, but it's not, and I believe it's a classic, though.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you. Scanner, so I had to. Okay, so it's asking me to save the label because I have an XPS document writer set as my printer, because I don't want to go off printing all sorts of labels when I'm running tests. But this is what happens basically. The label gets printed automatically, and then the software jumps to in the second tab here, right beside the inventory screen tab. This tab gets replaced with the tab belonging to the shipment that the book was just added to. And you see, I'm reading On the Road by Jack Kerouac. It's lovely.
So it added that one to shipment SDF1. So like basically, like when I used to do it, I would have a box that said SDF1. I would toss that box. That's how I particularly work in my particular case. I would toss that book, slap that label that it spit out on it, slap it over into the SDF1 box.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I see the print label tab there, like the little check mark. If you want to do 30 up labels, if you're on a LaserJet and you're using Avery labels, I know some people still do that. You can set it up to do that as well, correct?
Yes, that's right. Again, you need to go to Preferences and choose the label printer and label format.
Cool, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So,
Let's see in the
yeah,
red,
that's pretty much it. You can also rename the labels, the shipments, and then once you're done working on the shipment, once you're done working on a shipment, click Register Shipment one final time and then choose the Shipped option instead. Also, at which point, from the All Working and Local tab, that shipment will jump over to the Shipped in Transit tab, and then eventually it will go to the Close tab when Amazon received and processed your shipments. But in order for you to refresh that information, you need to use Retrieve from Amazon in the Close tab, for instance. And that's it. One final thing I'd like to mention is that you have the shipping session tab allows you to choose on which shipments you're currently adding items to. So for instance, let's say that this shipment right here with a warehouse location, with this particular warehouse location, you want to stop adding items to this warehouse location. Then what you can do is simply remove the item from the shipping session tab. I'm sorry, the shipment. And then that shipment will still show up in here in the All Working and Local tab, but it will no longer be in the shipping session tab. So future items that you scan in will only get included into these shipments right here. But if Amazon insists on you sending a particular item to a certain warehouse location, you might get in the situation where it creates a new shipment with the same warehouse location as the shipment that you previously removed from the shipping session.
Huh.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. So again, a lot of options. It can get confusing, but once you get it right and you know what you're doing, it can be very powerful.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I like about it. I'm going to be playing around with it a lot in the next couple of days. I've got a brother printer. That's why I asked about the printers, because seems like a lot of, like every other option that I've tried doesn't allow me to print out with the brother for some reason. Like I've just had issues with the format and everything, but I don't know. Hopefully it's not my printer. But
So, if you guys have any other questions,
yeah, does anybody have any other questions for Vali while we've got them? We got about 30 minutes left.
Just a quick question on what I was talking about earlier about the multiple locations. So up there in red, it says that that particular item will go to STF1. If there were multiples, it would just show different lines there. Like if it was going to different shipments.
oh, you're talking about this view right here?
Right.
Or,
so let's say you had like 10 of those, and 3 of them were going to, it's going 3, 3, and 4 to different.
right. Yes, it would show you the quantities as they were added to different shipments, and at any given point, what you can do is, let's take this item for instance. If you wanted to see which shipments this item has been added to, you can take this shipments of SKU field right here on the right, paste the SKU, and then hit search. And right here it will show you the shipments to which that item has been added. So for instance, this one right here. This is a very good example because this is the one with 101 copies added. So if I paste this SKU in here and hit search, it will show me all the shipments which contains it and how many copies it includes.
Okay. So that's the only way to find that. Like if I did a quick ad of the 100 books or whatever, I'd have to go over there to see which shipments that those individual ones go into, or.
What would have popped it up there in red? It would have said
Yeah,
so many.
that's what I was asking.
So
Does
many
all
had-
3 of them?
Yeah,
That's
it
what
would
I'm
have had
saying.
3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it would have had 3 red lines up there and told you all 3, so you'd know which boxes to put them in.
I have to say I'm not sure. So why don't we run a quick test? Because I'm not sure, and I don't want to say something that is untrue. But if it doesn't behave the way that Michael described, it would still be a very good feature. So we
Right.
actually find a way to make the software better today with you guys. And you can also add cases, by the way.
Okay.
Like if you've got a full case of lipsticks or something, you could just add the case instead of doing each individual one. That's a good way to get around. If you've got brand new boxes and perfect size boxes, you can get around that multiple inventory destination thing as well by using cases.
That's right. That's right.
Cheater.
So let's run that test right now real quick. So I've added a quantity of 100 items. Specified, I pasted the product ID, but if you would have used the scanner, the product ID, what would have happened was the product ID field would have populated, and this button to add the item to inventory and shipment would have been pressed automatically, basically.
Okay.
So scan, and then this would happen.
And if he had his Dymo hooked up like I did, that screen that just popped up just now wouldn't have popped up. It would be spitting out 100 labels on your Dymo.
Right.
Which is awesome. Because
Yep.
label printing was my biggest obstacle, I think, when I started FBA.
Yeah, it's still my biggest obstacle is getting the barcodes on. I think it takes me more time to get all that done. But now, in reference to the sending items to different warehouses and using the feature that Amazon lets you send everything to one warehouse, there's nothing in there that tells you how much it's going to cost you, like the difference in cost if you decide to use that 20 cents per item thing, right? Because that gets confusing for me when I'm putting shipments together. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where
Unfortunately, no, it doesn't. It doesn't tell you your estimated shipping cost.
Okay.
But to answer Michael's question, I just ran that test real quick, and as you can see, it's telling you added to in these shipments.
There you go.
And then also telling you what quantity was added to which shipment.
So where do I throw my money at?
Well, you don't have to throw your money at us yet. We'll give you 30 days for free time to try it out, and we'll schedule a training session if you need one.
And they will. I know they did with me. We'll walk you through if any of that seems complicated. I mean, I set up pulling over my inventory that I already had. I pulled it over successfully on my own. Got the data from Amazon. That wasn't hard. And trust me, I am not a software person, and it really was not terribly hard. And then they called and they did the screen share. They walked me through. They said, "Hey, what is your goal on your repricing? What do you want to do? Win the buy box? Do you want to always be the cheapest? Do you want to give your crap away?" And basically they did the screen share and they set up my repricer with me as we walked through it together. So it really, I mean, from start to finish, it really wasn't that much. It's not that complicated. If it seems overwhelming now, learning like a new piece of software, it's really not by the time they do all that and walk through everything with you.
Yeah, and we're just going over the basic walkthrough right now. I don't want to get into anything specific, like for an individual user. That's why they provide the customer service that they do, so that you can just, if you have a question that pertains to you and something that, like an issue that you constantly run into, you can ask them about it yourself, and they will get back to you very quickly to either tell you how to make it work the way that you need it to, or to, maybe it's a feature that they need to add in the future if it's not already part of the program.
there's a lot of other features with this software that we don't have time to get into today. But for me, it was like I just wanted something to create FBA shipments and have an automatic repricer, and then I learned all the other little things you could do with it as I went, because there's so much more, and you can use as little of it as you want or as much of it as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Now
have
somebody.
to learn the entire software to be able to use it.
There was one question somebody had earlier in the chat about if you have another repricer already and you want to try this one out, does it work? I mean, I would imagine you can't like make it work with another repricer. Do you have to just pause the other one and then reset everything in your inventory, and then if you don't like this one, have to redo everything with the old repricer, or is there a simple way to go through that and try this program out if you're using something else currently?
Well, there's really no conflict between Solar Engine Plus and other repricers. The only conflict will be that, well, yeah. So let's say you're repricing one item with Solar Engine Plus and with another software at the same time. Basically, you'll be sending commands to Amazon from 2 different software to change the price for that particular item. So the price will change, it will alternate between how Seller Engine Plus reprices that software and how the other repricing software reprices that particular item. So it will just jump from one price to another. That's the only issue or concern.
Okay.
I mean, I think if it was somebody, I understood her question in the side. If it was me, and I guess my off-the-record answer would be, if she was considering changing from that repricer over to this, put that other one on hold and try this one out for a while. I don't think I would personally want to be sending mixed signals to Amazon with my inventory and have my prices going, you know.
But it's not that hard to stop it and to pause it and try something else, right? I mean, is it very complicated, or I mean, you just stop using the repricer and then you try a different one and then you go back to the old one, right?
Seller Engine, it was really easy to pause it. I don't know about what software she's using, but
yeah, maybe
With Seller Engine Plus, if you're repricing with Seller Engine Plus, if you're running automatic reprice, all you need to do is push a stop button, which is currently not highlighted. Oh, I'm not screen sharing anymore. Sorry.
Oh,
but
no, you're good.
It's just a stop button that you have to press, and that's it.
Cool. Yeah, so it should be really simple to try out something different if you want to just give it a shot. But yeah, it's free for a month, guys. So if you want to try it out, I mean, $50 seems like a pretty big number, but you know, anybody, it's so useful. I mean, if you've got a lot of inventory and you're like for me, I went back and I spent an hour the other day just researching and repricing like 15 items. I mean, it took that amount of time was just ridiculous, you know. And I mean, if you're sending a lot of multiple quantities, I mean, you want to be able to stay like dialed in with the current pricing to not necessarily just to be the first one to sell out, but just to make sure that, you know, that 6-month long-term storage thing doesn't come around and you're like scrambling to get rid of your inventory. You know, I mean, you want to have something in place to constantly be moving inventory. And, you know, even if you're just selling one-offs of like toys and books and stuff like that, I mean, it's still useful to have something in there to make sure that you're staying in. I mean, you're still paying those storage fees, you know. I mean, even if it's only like a penny a book, or, you know, 10 cents for a box of something like a toy box set. I mean, some oversized items you could be paying upwards of 50 cents to $1 a month to Amazon to have it sitting there, right? I mean, I mean, if you've got enough stuff in your inventory, $50 all of a sudden becomes kind of a bargain just to be able to have it in that.
It can save you a lot of time, and it can increase your sales, and it can increase not just the quantity of your sales, but also the quality. And by quality, I mean how much money you make on that sale. Right. And if you think $50 is a lot of money, we're offering you Profit Bandit for free, bundled in with Seller Engine Plus, and Celery for that matter. So if you want to give Seller Engine Plus a try and you're already using Profit Bandit, you'll essentially only be paying us $40.
Let me make that clear. Let me clarify that before you.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. If you're using Seller Engine Plus, you get Profit Bandit as well for free. If you're using Celery, you get Profit Bandit as well for free. That doesn't mean that you get Celery for free, and if you get Profit Bandit or Seller Engine Plus, that you also get Celery. No, those are two separate. Those two don't combine at all. Like if you have Celery, you don't get to use Seller Engine Plus for free, but you do get Profit Bandit, basically, is what he's saying. It sounded like for a second you get all of them for the price of one.
If you sign up for Seller Engine, you can quit paying for Profit Bandit, but you'll still have it. How about that?
Is that based? Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't even have to do that, do you, Vali? I mean, if you've got Seller Engine Plus, then Profit Bandit just becomes included in your bill, right?
Right.
Is that correct, or do you have to go back and set it in your settings?
So if you're paying for Seller Engine Plus and you want to start using Profit Bandit, just send us a quick email to support@sellerengine.com saying I'm already paying for Seller Engine Plus, or I'm already paying for Celery and I want to start using Profit Bandit for free. And then one of my colleagues from the Profit Bandit team set your subscription to no charges. And
What if you already have Profit Bandit? Will it automatically go to being free, or should you go ahead and send that email just to make sure?
You send the email and anyway, it's not an automated process yet because it's hard for us to link up your accounts, your Seller Engine Plus accounts with your Profit Bandit accounts. We don't have that integrated yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a manual thing, but just spam us.
This is an in the know deal, guys. You have to pay attention. You have to be on their mailing list, or you have to listen to these shows. You have to know about this. I mean, it's not an automatic thing. You do have to let them know, hey, I'm checking this. I'm paying for Seller Engine Plus. I want Profit Bandit, and they'll just stop charging you for Profit Bandit and continue to let you use it as long as you're using Seller Engine Plus. Now, I do have some giveaways, and these are a little bit different than last time. Last time we just asked a few questions. This time I'm going to ask you to go interact on some of the different social media sites that we have set up for the show. But basically...
Wait. Let me open them up. I want to win something.
Don't worry, you don't have to do it right away. This is actually something you can do over the next couple of days. I'm going to announce the winners on Friday. But this is just a chance for all the panel members as well to have a chance to win, because last time it was one of those. I mean, this is a little bit more expensive, so I managed to get everybody hooked up that was on the panel last time, but this time this is a much more expensive piece of software, so we got to limit how many we're giving away. But if you go to Twitter, every time the show gets uploaded to YouTube, there's going to be a post on Twitter that says that at Resale Ronin, I uploaded a video to YouTube. Just go ahead and retweet that post and favorite it, and you're entered. You can also go to any of the Facebook groups. If you see this video posted in Facebook, just like and leave a comment in the comment section. Doesn't matter which group it's in, and I'll see that in my Facebook, and I'm gonna take all of the people that liked and commented any of those videos, and we'll go ahead and choose a random winner from there. And if you like and comment on this video after it gets uploaded here on YouTube, just in the description or in the comment section down there, just leave a post, hey, what's up, I want to be entered, whatever you want, and hit that like button, and you'll be entered to win there too. So you've got a chance to be entered 3 times for this, and basically, I mean, I guess technically somebody could win. No, I'm not going to do that. You can't win more than one, but you can be entered in more than one, so you have a better chance of winning once. But basically, we're giving away a free month of an extra free month of Reseller Engine. So everybody who is listening can try it for a month, but if you win one of these, you get another month on top of that for free. So basically, you have a chance of getting 2 months for free, which is pretty significant, especially if you like the software. I know that's $100 saved.
Sweet.
So, yeah, basically anybody's eligible. Just like I said, go to Twitter, find this post on Twitter. My Twitter's at Resale Ronin. You can just favorite and retweet that post, and you're entered that way. Or you can just wait until the show goes offline. In the comment section, just leave a comment and hit that like button, and you'll be entered that way as well. Or just find this video posted on Facebook somewhere, and I'll go ahead and just leave a comment on one of those threads and like any of them, and you'll be entered as well there too. So I'll just take a random winner from each different outlet and announce it on Friday.
Did we talk about paying for services?
Oh yeah, we had
a minor emergency here, so that's sorry.
Yeah, we've been talking about that forever. I mean, if it's a valuable service and it's saving you money or making you money or whatever, then it should be okay to
pay $50 a month to make an extra couple grand a month.
Yeah,
don't be afraid of that.
Amazon kind of gets your feet wet with the pro seller account. eBay helps you it's pretty obvious on eBay when you should open a store. I mean, people still ask the question that are new to it, but I mean, like, the more that you get into selling, the more serious you get, the more stuff you have in your inventory, the more sales that you're getting. I mean, it becomes harder and harder to manage, and you need software like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be this piece of software, but I recommend it. I like it so far, and I'm going to be trying it out over the next month or so just to see what I think. And I mean, we're not getting paid for this, guys. I mean, we're showcasing Profit Bandit because and Seller Engine Plus and Celery because I love the company. I like their customer service. We kind of reached out to each other, and they've been very, very forthcoming with information. And anybody that's just like, hey, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that you get the best experience possible, that usually those companies tend to work out. So
well, Paul last week let me know that the issues that I had with Profit Bandit, it was because of the Amazon side. It wasn't
the fee.
Profit Bandit issue. It was an issue with what Amazon gives to the companies. It wasn't that Profit Bandit screwed up. It was just they gave me what Amazon gave them, and I didn't know that. So that was kind of a big deal for me.
Using Profit Bandit for the last week has probably saved me the $10 just in the last week I've been using it. Because, I mean, when you're using the Seller Central app, yeah, it's great. You can set everything up, and you can click through a bunch of boxes and change everything around on every single item that you're scanning. But you have to switch back and forth between a lot of different screens, and it's just a pain. And it'll tell you how much money you're making and everything. But when you're on Profit Bandit, it's just got that little, you scan the item, you put in how much the item costs, and boom, there's your profit. And it's just right there in front of you. And, I mean, that's been so much quicker and so much more helpful to just make quick buying decisions. I mean, it's amazing too. Like, you don't even realize how much the fees are. It's like, okay, well, scan this, it's selling for $30 and I'm paying $10 for it. Cool. But when you actually see that number, this is how much you're gonna make when it sells, it kind of changes the way you think about stuff. So I mean, I've been really, really pleased with Profit Bandit so far. I like it a lot.
And as far as paying for services, I mean, I'm a guy that doesn't like to pay for anything just because I'm a cheapskate. But I will tell you, when I signed up for Seller Engine initially, I had quite a bit of items already in my Amazon inventory. And immediately once I got the repricer set up, now I mean, your mileage may vary, but at that point my inventory had become so stale because I wasn't manually repricing. Once I got that set up, I personally saw and started repricing. I saw sales start coming in on stuff that otherwise had been, I mean, it had been sitting there for months and months and months because my price was so far out of line because I hadn't manually repriced. So it paid for itself immediately because of the amount of items that I had. And then also, one thing you got to consider too when you ramp your business up to a certain level, I mean, at some point if you're not already, you're going to get a 1099K from Amazon or even eBay or both. You're going to find yourself struggling to look for things to write off to get it down where you don't pay as much in taxes. So, I mean, if you're going to be able to write off a business expense, why not write off a piece of software that is actually making you money? That was my thinking. Hey, I'm going to get to count this off my, as a business expense, this software off. So it's a win-win for me. So.
Yeah, like Dusty said, I mean, if you've got a lot of stuff in your inventory, and if you're like me, Oh, excuse me. If you're like me and it takes you a while to, go back through and find you just don't want to spend all that time going through every single individual item. I mean, just the repricing part is worth it just to try out for that free for that first month, so that once you get it all set up, now all that stuff that's been sitting there for me 6 months, for some of you it could be a year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever. I mean, I imagine if you've been on Amazon that long, then you've probably got some kind of repricing tool by now. But I mean, if you're like me, newer seller on Amazon, you've only been doing it for a few months, 6 months, you've been getting consistent shipments in there, but a lot of the stuff might be some of the longer tail stuff, or you notice some of the things that you thought were going to sell fast just haven't been selling, and they're still sitting there, and you find yourself spending an hour or two, 3 hours just going through and figuring, like trying to go through all these pricings and figure out why it's doing that. I mean, any kind of repricer is going to help you go, like, get everything set up a lot faster and start to move some inventory. And that during that free month, you're probably going to notice a pretty big jump in your sales. So, I mean,
Well, speaking of the free month, I'm sure a lot of the panel members and folks are going to be doing that here in the next week or so. So there may be a lot of Hangouts that are going to have the questions and things like that everybody initially has on the software. So might be a good idea to maybe post up. I don't know if somebody wants to post them up or whatever, some Hangouts where people are testing it out and this and that. I know I do all my stuff in the evenings and afternoons, so.
Well, if I may step in here, what you guys can do is, well, collect all the questions and just send them over to support, and we'll reply back with the answer for each question, and you can post them back in there.
Well, a lot of us are probably going to be using it for the next month at least, so we're going to have a lot of experience just like just from us talking about it on the show, and you're going to hear a lot about it while we're trying it out. So I mean, I don't want it to sound like an infomercial, but when we're sharing our feedback, don't be surprised if you hear a lot about it over the next month, guys. Everybody who's watching, and I'm sure we're going to collect a lot of questions. We're going to come up with a lot of like things that maybe we think could be improvements. And when you're getting the feedback from not just the people on the panel, but the 50 to 70 people watching live every day, and then the 500 more people every day who watch the show throughout the day, there should be some pretty good feedback. And you can always just go to the Reseller Wakeup and the Facebook group there, and you can post any questions you have there, any feedback you have there. I see all the comments that get posted on my videos, so if you have any feedback on the anything in the video, then you can just go back and post it up in the comment section there. I mean, there's plenty of different ways. You can even tweet me if Twitter's your thing. Go ahead and hit me up on Twitter, and I'll see it there as well. But yeah, after the first month of trying this out, I'm sure we're all going to have plenty of feedback for you, Vali, and we'll let you know. And maybe we'll even have you back or something. But I mean, today was a little bit different format. Most of the time we do an hour on Wednesdays. I knew that demo was going to take a while, so I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time to talk about everything. And I still feel like we didn't talk about everything that we could have, but
it was awesome, though.
Yeah, it was great to see, and I think it'll help a lot of people, and it'll save you some time when you're getting people set up, because I mean, you won't have to go through the basic stuff. But I mean, as we saw, every one of us probably had different questions about the software just based on our own needs, just watching it. But that's what the one-on-ones are for. And so any questions you have, you just hit up Vali support at Seller Engine Plus. Is that the
support? It's support at sellerengine.com. Feel free to send in any questions and request as many training sessions as you need to. We're here to help.
And one thing I would recommend, even if you're on the fence and you're saying, hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I mean, first of all, you're crazy not to do it. It's a free month. At least try it, see if it improves your business. I mean, hey, no obligation, no nothing. But even if you don't do that, one thing I would recommend is go to sellerengine.com/blog. They have a really good blog that they keep going, and they do articles on there on a regular basis. It is relevant stuff. This company has their finger on the pulse of all the crap that's changing on Amazon, all the latest trends, all the latest hot topics, that kind of stuff. There's a little, I believe there's a little thing on there where you can subscribe to their newsletter. They're not spammy. You just get really relevant articles, or at least go to it and don't sign up for the newsletter and read it. Either way, but they have some really good articles.
They do post good stuff on the blog.
I don't like getting the emails, but I enjoy reading their stuff. So
I go visit the blog. I go and visit the blog because they do.
I have to sign up for newsletters, or I forget because I'm ADD. What?
Yeah. I don't follow any blogs. You got to send me the information, and then if it looks relevant, then I'll click. But
there are very few. There are very few that I visit, but if it's good, relevant information, then you make it into my rotation.
Yeah, well, not just the blog. I mean, sellerengine.com, they have a lot of different products, and they have services as well. They have ungating services. They have the account reinstatement services where they'll help you get reinstated if you've lost your selling privileges. Go to sellerengine.com and just check out everything that they've got available. And but anyway, if you want to win an extra free month on top of the month that you get just for trying it out, go to Twitter, retweet the post and favorite that, or you can go to Facebook and find one of the posts there, posted in tons of different groups, comment on any of those posts. I don't care which one you do it on, and after the show goes off air, you can comment on the comment section down there and hit that like button, and we'll pick a random person from every outlet. That just gives everybody on the panel a chance to win as well. We'll pick a random winner on Friday from each outlet, and you'll get a free extra month. So 2 months free to try it out. But anyway, I want to thank Vali for coming on. Thanks for your time, man. I mean, like I said, with the customer service, and I really, really like it when a company's willing to put so much effort in just making sure that everybody's comfortable with the software.
And that's unusual, like we were talking about, in the reselling community. If you've ever tried to reach out to Amazon itself or to eBay itself and try to get an answer on anything, you're going to be waiting days. Whereas you've got a company here that literally will get back to you, typically within minutes or hours or whatever. So, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. It was really great talking to you guys. I enjoyed your show, and I'm very surprised to see such an awesome community of sellers working together to make their lives easier. I really have to admire the solidarity spirit that I found here, and it's just great. It's lovely, and I'm sure that we'll be working together in the future, and not just for these shows that we've put together so far.
That would be awesome.
Awesome. Right on. Well, yeah, I mean, we're hopefully we might even have some videos coming in the future, and they're not going to be like this during the hangout, but just stuff where just some walkthroughs, especially once we have the questions, and if a lot of people are asking the same stuff, then we'll know exactly what we need to showcase and make sure that you guys know exactly how to use everything within the parameters. But like us on Facebook, go check out the Reseller Wakeup. I post the latest episode of the show at the top of the group there every day, so that it's really easy to find that way. You can also subscribe to the show right here on YouTube. It's that big red subscribe button. Hit that like button. We love to see the thumbs ups, and follow me on Twitter at Resale Ronin. And we just started trying out Sue, tsu.co. If you've ever heard of that, you got to go check it out. You have to be referred, but there's a handy-dandy referral link to Sue right there in the description of this video. Go hit that, sign up, check it out. They actually pay you back for making posts and for being active, and it seems like something that could really, really take off. They're pretty new, but I like what they're trying to do. We'll see where it goes. Anyway, thanks a lot, and probably not going to do a show tomorrow, but you know what? If we hit, we'll go for 70 again. 70 likes, we'll do a show tomorrow. Otherwise, we will see you Friday morning. Thanks a lot, Bitcoin. We appreciate everybody for coming on, and we appreciate you all for watching. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.